Stone. I work over at Cron 4 News. I've been over there now for 8 years, and I got to be honest, I'm still trying to determine, do I say, let's go Mustangs? Yes. Or do I say, let's go Vikings? Yes. I'm well aware of the elephant in the room. I know the score last year was 62-0. And I have two things to say. Mills, let's get going, all right? Let's get going, guys. And I got one other thing to say. Ease up, guys. Ease up. I mean, it's a rivalry game. We're supposed to have a good time watching it. But I wish everybody the best. I've been at Cron for 8 years. I've covered a lot of news stories. Been on TV for 15 years. Done a lot of sports as well. Covered 5 NBA Finals, 5 NBA Finals, 2 World Series, 3 Daytona 500s, 3 Super Bowls, if there's one thing that I could say to you guys, you girls, is live in the moment. Enjoy it. Because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I can remember back at Super Bowl 50, we went down there, and that was at Levi's Stadium, one right here locally, and it was one of those where I begged the boss, hey, can I come to the Super Bowl parties all week long? He said, I don't know, JR. Who's going to be at those parties? All the celebrities, all the famous people. Well, he let me cover the parties. And the day we had the game, I had been to the Maxim party the night before. Lil Wayne was performing, if you're familiar with that guy. It was a great time, but we met at the station. And my general manager, she wanted to talk the whole time. Tell me about the party. Tell me about it. How was it? How was the performance? How were the on and on and on. So I talked for an hour and a half, and I won't do that today. But I talked for an hour and a half about it. Well, we got down to the stadium, and we were walking all over the place. And, you're not really thinking about you're at the Super Bowl. But then we're in the back room. These security guys come in. They said, against the wall, against the wall. I said, what? And I get squeezed against the wall. And before I know it, Lady Gaga walks in. And I thought, oh. And she had just performed the national anthem. We just watched it. So she looks at me and I said, hey, Gaga, great job on that anthem. She said, thanks. And she walked out, and within 30 seconds, all those security guys and Gaga, they were all gone. But for me, it was that moment. It was that moment where I thought, wow, I'm with Gaga at the Super Bowl. I mean, granted, it was only 5 seconds or so we were talking. But to me, it was one of those moments where you think, I'm here, I'm at the Super Bowl, I gotta enjoy this. And from that moment on, I really enjoyed everything. It turned out to be a 12-hour day or whatnot. I was losing my voice because I was being asked about those parties so much. But nevertheless, you're gonna go into tomorrow's game, and I hope you remember some of the things. I hope when you go out there, you remember, this is gonna sound funny, but I hope you remember the smell of the grass. I hope you remember the smell of your uniforms. And if they're stanky uniforms, then you remember that smell. Because you're going to remember it the rest of your life. When you go out there and there's that crowd and they're cheering for you, remember that. Because you don't know when the next time you're going to be around something like that. Live in the moment and enjoy every part of it. When it comes to my career, and I know a lot of you guys will choose to go in other directions, or maybe you'll keep playing in college. For me, I had this idea, I'm going to go on to college and I'm going to play, I'm going to walk on a baseball team and I'm going to make the best of it. And I went into college, the coach said, you know what, we want to see you as a pitcher. So I trained at the University of Miami with the pitching coach for a year. I went into the summer league, we played down in Homestead, Florida. And I don't know if you've ever been to Homestead, Florida. There's not a whole lot going on in Homestead, Florida. Nevertheless, we'd get out of the car and we'd get hit by these bugs that would go up on the dashboard. We'd be out there all the time. I threw mid-80s. It was all right, but my shoulder was hurting. Things weren't going so well, and I thought to myself at one point, I think this is the end. And I stopped. I stopped playing baseball. But 2 weeks later, I'm in the weight room, and a guy comes up. He says, let's go rowing. How about you want to row with us? You want to be on the crew team? Go out in the water, see the sights. I said, man, this sounds pretty good. So I got out the water. I just got to be honest. I mean, I don't know if you row or you've done crew. It is hell on earth. It is one of the most brutal things you've ever done. But I lasted at it for 2.5 years. And had I never made the decision to move on, then I would have never experienced what was one of the greatest memories. I mean, I can remember being out on the water, having dolphins ride next to us as we're cruising down, or having fish come up in the morning because there was a school of fish under our boat. We were getting bombarded by fish, and it was some of the greatest memories ever. And I know going into your game tomorrow, it's going to be some of the most greatest, what you've had in high school, some of the greatest memories ever. And I hope you enjoy that, but I hope you also realize that when one door closes, another one opens. And if you are lucky enough to go on and keep playing, then power to you. All right, I got one more story. I don't want to ramble on and on. I don't want to lose the crowd. I played football my freshman year, and I kept it to freshman year in high school because I was always so worried about getting injured for basketball or getting injured for baseball. Baseball was my sport. So I'm playing freshman year, and I was the scrawny guy who played defensive end, and all of a sudden I didn't start on the team. The coach goes, "Stone!" And I said, "Yeah, get in there." "Oh yeah." And I run out there, and I'm so excited. Man, I lined up on the line. I don't know what it was. I read this QB snap count like it was no other. I tore through that line. Oh, man. The quarterback went to hand off the ball. "Oh, I got this guy. I got him." Well, I wrapped him up, the running back. And let me just tell you, he ran right over me. It was the ugliest thing. Not only did he run over me, he bust through the offensive line. He went 10 to 15 yards. And I got up, and I was one of the tallest guys on the field, and I was also one of the most embarrassed guys. But all I could hear at that point was, "Stone!" And I ran back to the sidelines, and I thought, oh man, this is going to be tough. I got back to the sidelines, and my coach was a smaller Italian gentleman, and I was 5 to 6 feet away, and he said, "What the hell was that? Oh my gosh, I can't believe you. I mean, that was terrible." And he was 5 to 6 feet away, and I could smell his rank breath, that coffee breath. I can still smell it to this day. Just then he reaches up, grabs my face mask, pulls me within a foot, and I thought, oh Lord, here we go. Well, he starts shouting, "You know what, Stone, I can't believe you. Your mama's sitting in the crowd," meanwhile the breath. "Your mama's sitting in the crowd, and she said to me, oh look, my son made a tackle. And then you know what she said, Stone? You know what she said?" And I'm about dead at this point from the stank. And she said, "Look, no, that wasn't my son. My son sucks. Now go sit on the bench, Stone." And I went back and I sat down on the bench. And you're probably saying to yourself, "Why are you telling that story? I mean, you look like a real loser there, JR. I'm telling that story because I remember it to this day. And there's something about going out there and doing your job right. I went out there and I was so excited about actually being in the football game. I didn't think about what I was going to do other than obviously I'm going to go tackle him. I didn't think about putting my shoulder down, hitting him in the chest, and burying him on the ground. I didn't think about that. And had I thought about that, then maybe I would have made a play. Maybe it wouldn't have been an 8-yard loss, but it would have been 3 to 4-yard loss. So when you go out there tomorrow, or I'd say just think about what you're going to do. Okay, I'm going to get in there, and if your job is to throw a pass, get out there and go throw a pass, or at least attempt to. I mean, I look at my job right now, and I get all sorts of news tips, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on Twitter, or emails, and people reach out, "Oh, look at this news lead, look at this news lead, look at this news lead." Well, if I just grabbed it, and I went with it, put it on Facebook, or put it on Instagram, or put it out there on the news, and it was wrong, then I'd have to deal with my boss. He wouldn't be like the guy on the football field, but he would be in my jockstrap, so to say. And that's one thing I don't want. So to this day, I think about what I'm going to do. Okay, let me look at this news tip, let me take it, and let me go with it. So when you're going out there, and even if it's, if you're a cheerleader and your job is to throw somebody up in the air and catch them, well, catch them. And have a good time out there. But think about what you're doing, and then go out there and do it. And I know for a lot of you, again, it might be your last football game, but you go down the road, and here I am. I don't play any sports anymore, but I sure do talk about it. And I remember the days back when I used to play. And, we talked about that Sunday night show that I have. Sometimes maybe I bring up the days back in the day a little too much, but I remember that. You know, the work ethic that you guys may not understand why coach has to do this or this or this. But you know what? In the work days, you're going to work a 12, 13-hour day. So, you know what? When you go out there tomorrow, hit some people, throw some people, cheer it on, have fun out there, live in the moment, have a good time, because you're going to remember it. Thanks so much for letting me talk, and go Mustangs or go Vikings, something like that. Have a great day, everybody.